fitting a 10mm Noresman fitting to a wire, the wire's already been cut. Don't drop the cone in the water. Slide the head over first.
What tools are you going to need?
To do this, we're going to need 2 tools, or a few tools, a spanner to hold the stud, and then a bigger one to turn the head to tighten it up. Going to need some Loctite, and most importantly, some silicone, but make sure that it is a non-acetic cure silicone, which is a silicone that doesn't smell. Otherwise the acetic acid will rust your Noresman prematurely. You have to unravel the outer layer of wires. You can be pretty rough with this, just to get them out of the way. And be careful, because they are sometimes quite sharp. And it's quite obvious when you're doing this which are the outer strands, although it does look confusing. Once you've undone them, you'll see the inner cores. Slide on your wedge down the inner. Sometimes you got to clean off any some burrs. And what's important here is to have 1.5 times the wire diameter protruding from the end. So I've got 10mm wire, so I'm after 15mm protruding. So you slide your wedge up 15mm from the end, and then re-wrap your outers. Slide that into 15mm. A bit far, is it? That's perfect. Important to check you've got even spacing on the end of these, that you don't have 2 of them bunched together or 3 bunched together. Sometimes you've got to spin them around the slots in the wedge to get them right. The next step is a test fit. It's important to test fit it without the silicone and without the Loctite to make sure it's going to be a strong fitting. You slide your cone, thread this guy in to bend the wires. If this Noresman's been sitting in your bilge for 5 years, make sure that you lubricate the threads, otherwise you can get galling of the stainless and you will never get it undone. But if it's a nice new one like this one, it's been factory greased, which makes it easy to assemble. So we tension this up till about 3 or 4 threads from the bottom. You'll feel it. It's quite easy to turn as you're bending the wires in, and then it will start to tighten up. There's no need to completely tighten it, just get it a few threads from the base. Then we undo it and check that all the wires are formed correctly. Yeah, we undo it and we check to make sure the wires are evenly laid around and there's no kinks, and we're happy with that. Now we apply some neutral cure silicone, pack it in so we have no air bubbles, keep the salt water out. It's quite a messy job, but you want to keep this, if you can, from getting too much on the threads of the head there, because we're going to want the Loctite to grip on that, but that is almost impossible. Need to get enough on here so that when you push it out you've got no air bubbles in there. Put some silicone inside your stud as well. Fill that up. Again, try and keep the threads as clean as you can. Now we can Loctite the stud. And studs away we go. Got to recycle. As you're doing up the stud, got to make sure that you've got silicone pushing out of the head there. If you're not, then you need to pull it apart and put more inside. See the silicone pissing out the top there? It's beautiful. And how far these do vary a little bit with wire diameter, but you generally want to be about 1 to 2 threads from the end. Don't have to do it too tight. You want to be able to get it apart to inspect it when you do your rig inspections. Clean up your silicone excess. Leave a nice taper on the top so the seawater can run off. And there you have it.